The Toronto Maple Leafs were very close to making one of the biggest acquisitions in the NHL before the trade deadline. And if this deal had gone through, it could have changed the team's fate. But what really prevented the trade? And what does this mean for the future of Mitch Marner and the franchise? Let's break it all down now. From the start, the Leafs were determined to bring in Mikko Rantanen. GM Brad Treliving tried everything, even negotiating with the Carolina Hurricanes on 3 different occasions. The goal: adding a superstar to the team and elevating Toronto to an even more competitive level for the playoffs. But the first major obstacle emerged right at the beginning of the talks. The Leafs' initial proposal revolved around a massive name: Mitch Marner. The Carolina Hurricanes wanted an immediate impact player and made it clear that if Rantanen were to be traded to Toronto, Marner needed to be part of the package. What did Toronto do? They went straight to the player to discuss the possibility. But Marner didn't hesitate. He exercised his no-trade clause, refusing any chance of leaving. This decision caught many within the organization by surprise, as some believed he might waive the clause given the potential roster changes. And here comes an important detail. This refusal could have serious consequences for his future with the Leafs. If the team tried to trade him now, do they still see him as a key piece for the coming years? Will Marner reconsider his future as free agency approaches? The fan base is divided. With Marner off the table, the Leafs had to act fast. The second trade attempt involved one of the team's most promising young talents, Matthew Knies. GM Treliving's plan B was to offer a package centered around Matthew Knies, a player Toronto highly values. According to Chris Johnston of The Athletic, the talks reached an advanced stage, but the Leafs were never fully convinced about giving up Knies. And it makes sense. Knies still has a lot of potential to grow, and Toronto knows he could be a crucial piece for the franchise in the long run. In the end, the organization didn't want to risk losing such a talented young player for someone who, despite being a star, might not stay for long. But Toronto didn't give up and made one last attempt. Without Marner and without Knies in the package, the Leafs made their final move. Fraser Minton, Easton Cowan, and 2 first-round picks. A strong offer, similar to what the Dallas Stars had put forward. So why did the Hurricanes reject Toronto and choose to close the deal with Dallas instead? The answer is simple: conference strategy. The Carolina Hurricanes knew that if they sent Rantanen to the Leafs, they could end up facing their former player in the playoffs. To avoid that risk, they opted to send him to the Western Conference, where the chances of a direct matchup were much lower. In other words, even if Toronto had made a better offer, Rantanen's fate was already practically sealed. Now comes the most surprising information. There are strong indications that Rantanen was willing to sign a long-term contract with the Leafs. This means Toronto missed the chance to secure one of the league's best forwards for years. Dallas and the Florida Panthers were the most mentioned teams in the speculation, but Toronto was on the players' radar. If this trade had happened, we could be talking about a Leafs offense with Rantanen as a centerpiece for years to come. But now, the question remains: should Toronto have pushed harder, or was this the better outcome? With Marner still on the team and no Rantanen, the Leafs will have to look for other ways to strengthen the roster. Does Treliving have a plan B to boost the team's offensive power? And the big question: is Marner's future in Toronto in jeopardy? Will the team try to trade him again in the summer? Leave your opinion in the comments. And if you want to stay updated on all the Leafs and NHL moves, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Before you go, check out this other video on the screen, because more breaking news is coming.